All right. Isn't it nice to see that anyone can be a leader, you guys? You don't need to know what you're doing or anything. There's always someone to help you. Okay, so we're gonna get started at 5:33. It was nice. We got a couple extra minutes to let people jump on. And we are going to talk about time management and organization tonight. And I love, usually this might be a subject that you would think that we would talk about maybe in the beginning of the year, New Year's resolutions, but in our family, we like to kind of talk about that again around the start of the new school year because summer's awesome. It's crazy. I love when my kids get out of school for the summer because we get to do all kinds of fun things, not have as strict of routines. But I'm always very excited for my kids to go back to school, to get back into good habits and good routines. Our family does better when we have routines. Not to say that we don't love summer, but that's when I kind of start to look at, okay, what do I want to do to finish out the year on my business? What do I want to tweak? What do I want to change? So if I thought I was feeling like that, I thought we all could use a little boost about that too. So we're going to start a little bit with some organization tips, and then we're going to move into time management. And I'm going to talk about some different ways and things that you can utilize to upgrade both of these areas in your business, right? Even if you're good, you can always learn something new from every training you take. So we're going to start with organization first. The first thing that I want to talk about real briefly is what I like to refer to as a domain. And a domain is a kind of like a subject matter or an area of your life. And so I'll kind of give you an example. If you work outside of the home, your full-time job would be a domain, if that makes sense. Your kids would be another domain. Family, I kind of divide that between extended family and then immediate family, like my kids and my husband. I also divide my kids and my husband into separate kind of like subject matters or categories because I do different things with my husband to increase our relationship and interaction than I do with my kids. I also have myself as a subject matter or domain. So the reason I'm talking about that is in different management classes and stuff that I've taken, they said that you should have no more than 6 different categories that are a priority to you and your family. And with that being said, once you have those 6 categories, and it doesn't have to be 6, sometimes people might only have 4 or whatever, that's fine. Once you have those categories, then you organize them in the order of importance. And so I'll just give you an example with my own, and you can kind of think about this. This might take a little bit longer, than a quick 5-minute exercise. Like it might take some think time, what I like to refer to as think time, where you think about it uninterrupted for like 20 minutes and see what's the priority for you. And what that's going to do is it's going to help you prioritize and do your time management for the whole rest of whenever anything comes up. If someone asks you to do something, you can see, okay, what domain does that fall in? Does it take away from one of my other higher domains that are more important to me? Should I do it or not? Like that's why we're kind of talking about this. So the order of mine is I'm first, because if I don't take care of myself first, I can't take care of anybody else, team members, family members, anything. So after myself is God. For me personally, now that might be one that maybe you don't have on there, and that's totally fine. Next is my husband, then my kids, then my job. So that's Pampered Chef for me. And then after that is extended family and relationships. So it could be like close friends that I want to stay in contact with, like extended family, like my sisters, my mom, stuff like that would fall into those. Those are my 6. Again, you don't have to have 6, and that's the order of importance. So if something comes up, I look at the order of importance for those domains, and then that can help me make a decision whether or not I'm going to say yes to a future commitment or activity. So why that helps is you only have a certain number of time in the day. So no matter how you look at that time and how you organize that time, there's only 24 hours in the day, and you got to spend a little bit of that time sleeping, right? 6 to 8 usually. And so that leaves 2/3 of your day left. And so when you know what's important to you and the order of importance, it really can help with organizing and choosing which tasks to do. And with that being said, if someone asks you to do something like, let's say the school calls and they want me to volunteer or something like that, I have a certain number of hours per month that I volunteer for. And once those are filled, my cup's filled in that category, and I say no. And I give you guys permission on this call to say no when someone asks you to do something, if it doesn't fit or doesn't work for your schedule. And no guilt, right? Because it's not when you look at your order of importance, if it's like 5 or 6, it's okay to say no to that. So that's why it's kind of important to know what's important to you. And when people ask you to do things, you can go from there. Okay, so number 2, this in organization is routines. And the routines, I'd like you to kind of broaden your horizon and think of routines or systems. I know you've heard that before in Pampered Chef, and they can be applied to any aspect of your life. So for instance, if you have a really good routine or system for getting work done, like we like to call it at our house, like Saturday work, right? Like when you clean the bathroom, when you do your kitchen floor, you know, that kind of stuff. If you have a good system for that, it will start to run and work like clockwork, and you don't have to like deal with the problems every week. So for instance, we have like a chart with like, tasks and what that means. So when someone has the big bathroom to clean, they have like a little task list that I typed up, and the kids can manage that on their own, where I'm not having to like check their Saturday work, make sure it's done. They're like, oh, I forgot to do the walls. No, you didn't. It's on the list right there. So a lot of times when you can take time to put those systems or those routines in place, it can make things in your life go really, really smoothly. I'll give you another example. So when you're grocery shopping or when you do meals, if you have a good routine or system in place, it can help it run a lot smoother. So I'll give you an example. Like if you had, meatless Monday, you want to pick a vegetarian meal and makes your grocery list go really quickly. Taco Tuesday, Mexican, if you have that Tuesday, that's, easier to run through. We even have a little routine for breakfast in the morning. So my kids get breakfast before school, and I can kind of quickly do my grocery list because I know exactly the kind of foods that I buy every morning for breakfast. So routines can be very helpful in your business, which is what we a lot of times think of, what's my host coaching system? What's my systems for making contacts? But when you apply those great ideas to your everyday life and have routines, like when you run errands every week, when you go to go to volunteer at school every week, it makes it a lot easier to know when to schedule appointments and when to, when you have free time and stuff like that. So that can be really helpful. Number 3 in organization is how are you going to get organized? And I'm going to give you 2 examples. Of course, there's way more than this out there, and you pick the system that works for you. Some people will swear by a Google Calendar, and some people will swear by like a planner or a paper calendar. I really don't think it matters how you choose to stay organized. What matters is, does that system work for you? So if you've been using a paper calendar and you're forgetting things all the time, maybe that's not right. That's not the right system for you. Maybe you need a Google Calendar that you can access on your phone at any time. When you schedule an appointment, you immediately put it in there so that you don't accidentally schedule a team, call at the same time. So pick a system that works for you, and just some pros and cons. I love the Google Calendar system because it's totally free to use. You just need to set up a Gmail account. So that's a plus. And some of the things that I like about that one is it's color coded. So you can kind of prioritize family activities, like we talked about with the domains. You can prioritize personal into a certain color, my husband into a certain color, kids, family, business. So that way that color can stand out to you of what's important. I also love that you can immediately add appointments and stuff to it. Like when I'm at the dentist office, I can put my kid's dentist appointment like I did last weekend for 6 months from now, and I don't accidentally schedule something at the same time. So that's a nice plus with the Google Calendar. The nice thing about the paper calendar, because I've used both, is I love being able to cross something off, like physically cross it off. And I know you can do that at the Google Calendar level too, but it gives me more satisfaction when I actually get to physically with my hand cross something off. So I don't know if you guys are the same way, but that's what I love about a paper calendar. And so again, doesn't matter which way you pick, just pick a system that you can keep organized with, with certain times that you do things during the day, including taking care of yourself, like scheduling time to exercise, and stuff like that. All right. One thing that I just want to chime in with the Google Calendar. I know it's not a mindset class, but I like to start my day with improving my mindset because, again, personal is number one for me. If I take care of myself, I can take care of everybody else. So two of the things that I like to put at the very start of my day is a gratitude journal, and I keep that right by my desk, like it's literally right here. It's a little Pampered Chef notebook that they gave us, and I wrote gratitude journal on the front, and I write down 5 things that I'm thankful for every day. And you guys, sometimes it's like, I'm so glad I got that parking spot under the shade in Arizona. That's very important in the summer. With the tree, you know, like you look in the parking lot for that one shaded spot. And sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, my husband was so sweet last night and did the pots and pans for me after dishes, you know, whatever it is. But 5 things that I'm thankful for each day, each morning. And then after that, I do my affirmations. And again, those are right in front of me. So you guys, right in front of my desk are my affirmations. And these are my I am statements. So these are goals that I want to hit with it starts with I am first. And so that's in present time. So it's not like I will be, it's I am currently. So if let's say you wanted to promote to director, your one of an example of your I am statement would be I am a director with the Pampered Chef. So it's current time. And so after I write my 5 little gratitude things each day, then I write my I am statements, and I just fill, and again, that you guys saw how big that notebook was. It's like as big as my hand. Okay. So then I fill the rest of the lines with my I am statements. I think I have like 10 or 11 I am statements, and I usually can run through 7 to 8, you know, on the page after my gratitude journal is done. So that when I do that exercise, and it takes 10 minutes maybe, at the end of the exercise, my mindset is totally improved, which is really nice. Hold on, I hear someone. There we go. All right, so just a little side note, that's one of the things that I like to start out the day with. So, okay, last thing in the organization category is each week I have a little quick 15-minute meeting with my family, my kids, and my husband, and we go over the calendar. And that way, if anybody has anything to add, like my husband has, he works from home, so he sometimes can help run the kids different places and stuff. But if he has an appointment that I don't have down, he can add that. If the kids had a work shift change or something like that, they can add that to the family calendar. And that really helps us stay organized better. And again, it takes 15 minutes. We usually do it on a Sunday. I get my calendar, my family calendar down. We quickly meet. And then that way, everybody kind of is clear on the schedule and stuff for that week. So that's a little helpful tip with organization. All right, so now we're going to jump into time management. So now that you're organized, what do you do with your time? So when it's your business, and well, any aspect of your life, family, business, you know, depending on the order of your domains, but personally for me, it was really helpful to do this with the business. There's so many great things that you could do with Pampered Chef. You need to decide what to do. So I would suggest that you make a list of the 3 to 5 most important tasks that you have to get done. Now, if you get those done and you have extra time, you can do more tasks, but the 3 to 5 most important. For me, it's number 1, and I would suggest this should probably be number 1 for everyone's list, is contacts. I need to make sure that I do 30 contacts a day. And I would say that's the most important thing that you can do as a director or a consultant, senior consultant, and team leader. So contacts. The next is host coaching. Those hosts that I book shows with, I want to make sure their shows are fantastic. So that's number 2. Number 3 is my team. Super important to me. But always have to take care of our personal business first, right? If we don't have a personal business, then it's really hard to help team members with their businesses. Number 4 is show interaction. So am I interacting with guests and shows? And number 5 is social. Where am I going to go live? What am I going to post this week on my social media? Now, that is not a suggestion that that's what you have to put down. It might be different for you. Like you might have recruiting on there if you want to hit a promotion in the next couple months. You know what I mean? And for me, the bookings and the recruiting fall into the same category of contacts. So I want to be consistent with both. So depending on what you're doing with your business over the next couple of months and what you want to focus on, you might have different priorities, but those are my priorities. So if I have a super busy day and the only 2 things I get done that day, is my contacts, my 30 contacts a day, and my host coaching. You guys, my business can run on that. If I have, not every day, but you know what I mean? If I had to pick two, my business can run on that. So when you know those important tasks, it's really easy to prioritize your time if you only have 30 minutes that day, because we all have those days, right, where it gets really busy. So if you're a senior consultant, a consultant, or a team leader, you might have 3 to 4 priority tasks. If you're a director and above, it might be closer to 5, but I wouldn't pick more than 5. That would be the limit that I would pick as your absolute number 1 priorities, like most important. And then out of those 5, you can number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That was tip number A for time management. Tip number B is what to do with number 1. So once you have your categories picked, right, your most important tasks, then what do you do with it? And so I'm going to talk about 2 ways that I stay organized with my number 1 task, and that's contacts. So you can pick either one of these options that work for you. The first one is called a power hour, and I'm sure some of you guys have heard that before, but it's definitely one of my favorite things to suggest to brand new consultants because it's super easy to prioritize and it's super easy to break down into pockets of time. So sometimes people have like a whole hour that they can spend on their business in a row. And that's great. Sometimes I talk to people who work full-time, people that have busy schedules with their kids. Maybe they have a lot of little kids at home, and they don't have an hour all in a row. So I love the power hour because you can break it up into 15-minute chunks. And that's what I like to call pockets of time. So look at your schedule and see where you have 15-minute pockets of time or where you have a full hour all together. And so that's where you can put the power hour. You can break it apart or you can put it together. What the power hour breaks down into is 15 minutes a day of bookings or contacts. That fits into the category of contacts, but it's specifically booking contacts. 15 minutes of host coaching, 15 minutes of recruiting, sharing the business with others. Man, with that kit this month, the rebate, I'm hoping all you guys are talking about it. And then 15 minutes of helping your new consultants get off to a great start. Now, can I do a training call in 15 minutes? Most of the time, no. So what I'm doing with that 15 minutes is scheduling my time with my team into 30-minute calls. And so again, that's something that I do as an upper level director. That might be slightly different for you if you are, promoting and not training your team yet. You know what I mean? You can use that last 15 minutes for, so if I'm talking to someone that hasn't recruited any team members yet, I tell them that they can use that 15 minutes for whatever they need a boost in their business for. So if you need bookings, schedule that extra last 15-minute time slot for more booking contacts. If you need to work on setting up your table parties, that last 15 minutes might be to set up shows, that kind of thing. So that's the power hour concept. And when you're consistent with that, you guys, I'm telling you, you will have major success with your business because you're working on all the most important aspects of your business equally each day, which is nice. The other way to do contacts is, again, it's kind of similar to the timing that we talked about before. You can do your contacts all at once, and it could take anywhere between, 30 contacts a day would take anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes, or you can break it down into 10 contacts in 10 minutes. And again, this pockets of time concept works really good with people who work full-time, go to school full-time. You have 15 minutes between classes, send out 10 contacts. You're waiting in line at the carpool, lane to pick up your kids from school, get there a few minutes early, send out 10 contacts while you're waiting. So those pockets of time can really be utilized when we start to look at where do I have 10 to 15 minutes as a pocket. So that's one way that our team likes to talk about it, is all at once or 10 contacts in 10 minutes, and you aim for 3 of those pockets each day. So that really helps me on a busy day getting my contacts in, which again, I know I want to do because it's my number 1 priority is getting those contacts in. Now, if I have shows on my calendar and I have a lot of guests that I'm interacting with, those still count as my 30 contacts that day, you guys. If I'm messaging guests and interacting with them and sharing, the link with them and talking with them, that's a contact. So, once you get shows booked consistently and you're touching base with guests and shows and stuff, that will still that will still count as your contacts because you're working on getting bookings and stuff like that with those people too. All right, number C, so the ABCs of time management. Number C is how to decide what to do. So when you have tasks that you want to look at, first question I always ask myself, and this is business related, is this an IPA? And IPA stands for income producing activity. And we can get really lost in some of those other non-income producing activities. And I'll give you some examples. Getting lost in Facebook, right? We get on Facebook to check our parties. We see a post and squirrel, right? We're often like commenting land, right? And that's not an income producing activity. Also, I love Canva, you guys, but holy cow, you can spend way too much time on Canva and do those produce income? No. Now, sometimes you need to do a post or something that you need to do for social, and that's totally different, but I'm just talking about like playing on Canva, okay? So income producing activities are things like messaging guests about bookings, getting your contacts in, right? Doing your host coaching and stuff. That will have a direct result in what kind of income and shows that you're turning in. And so those are things that we really want to focus on more than the other stuff. Still do the other stuff, obviously, but those priorities, when you have 15 minutes, you want to make sure you're hitting the IPAs, the income producing activities. So that's the first question I ask. Second question I ask is, can this task be? And there's three things. Can this task be, number one, delegated? So can I delegate this to husband, kids, a friend, a parent that's working with me on a committee for school? Like, can it be delegated? Number two, can it be automated? So if I'm sending out a ton of messages, from shows, could I make this work with Project Broadcast where it automatically sends a message for me, right? So is there a way for it to be automated? The third one is, can this task be eliminated, completely eliminated? And those three words, can it be delegated, automated, or eliminated, will help me determine whether or not that task is super important if I have to do it myself. Does that make sense? Okay, so I asked myself that question. And then the last thing that I try to remember is the 80-20 rule. And this is for if you start to recruit and build a team. The 80-20 rule is 80% of your time spent on your business should be on your own business. 20% should be with your team. So when I look at my 5 most important tasks, contacts, that's for my own business, host coaching for my own business, team, that's the 20%, right? The fourth one is social, totally for my own business, and interacting with my shows, totally my own business. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 100%. And 20% is on my team. So that just kind of gives you the breakdown of some numbers of what you should be spending your time on with your business and stuff. So that is what I have today. We have a couple minutes left for questions. I'm going to kind of quickly look through to see if anybody asked any questions in the chat. Let's see. Oh, what were the 4 15-minute breakdowns in the Power Hour? I'll repeat that. So first 15-minute interval is bookings, contacts specifically for bookings. Second 15-minute interval is host coaching. And again, this doesn't have to be in this order. These are just the 15-minute intervals, okay? Third is recruiting contacts. And fourth is new team members. So like helping train, answer questions and stuff like that from new team members. If you don't have a team yet, then that fourth 15-minute interval is, what do you need on your business the most that day? Okay, if it's bookings, you might spend an extra 15 minutes making booking contacts. All right, next question in the chat. Oh, lost the fourth. Okay, so I did say, yeah, fourth was help new team members, or you can choose something that you need extra help in. Like for instance, this month, it might be taking a Teach Me webinar or table, webinar with the new table chat, something like that. 80-20 categories. Those were just my personal ones. The 80-20 rule is you should be spending 80% of your time on your personal business, 20% of your time on your team. So I was just giving you my 5 most important tasks of the day. It fits into that 80-20 rule. Those are my 5. That doesn't have to be your 5, but that's the example that I used for that. Okay. I think that's all the questions in the chat. If anybody has any questions in person, absolutely feel free to take yourself off mute, and you can ask in person. And we have a couple minutes left. And if no one has any questions, I'll let you guys leave a couple minutes early.
Hey,
yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Irma.
I had one too, but I'll let her go first.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Irma. And sorry, the next person could go. Yeah.
I am brand new. Hello, everybody. I actually had a really awesome beginning training with Kelly earlier today, but I had a question. I use my phone, you know, for most of my appointments and stuff, for doctor's appointments and whatnot, but I have a date book that I use. So should I just stick to one or do both? Because one is for, you know, mostly personal stuff, sometimes some business stuff, but I do find it easier for my phone because I sometimes I lose my date book. So
yeah, you know. So I would suggest whatever system you're using, if it was working for you, keep it. But if you're finding that you're accidentally scheduling things, you know, when you have something else scheduled, like if you have an appointment scheduled and you accidentally scheduled something else, then I would suggest to combine. And if you like the phone, Irma, Google Calendar would work great for that, because you can schedule time to work on your business and time for your appointments in the same, you know, same calendar. So yeah, but if it's working for you, I would say if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? You don't need to switch to something else if it's working for you. So that would be my best tip. If it's not working and you're finding that you're not staying organized the best, then look into a new system to try. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Who was question number 2? Sorry, I didn't see real quick who had that. Another question. Can you print a Google Calendar? I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Yeah, I think you can. Once you find it, you can Google it first, and then Google Calendars. What kind of phone do you have? It all depends on the phone too.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's a good thing to look at. All right, I thought someone else had a question, but maybe we intermittently answered it. Oh, yes, you can. Someone else said you can. If whenever you guys have a question on how to do something technical, like how to print a Google Calendar, guess where I go to? YouTube. Anytime I have a question about something, YouTube will have the answer for me usually on a quick little video, and it's very handy if I don't know how to do something. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Awesome. If you guys do think of any, you know, you can contact me through your upline, and I'd be happy to answer any. We will post the recording if you want to re-listen to it, and hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. So bye guys. See you soon.
Thanks, Kelly.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Kelly.
Bye guys.